good morning. Glad to be back home this week. Finally get a chance to come back. We had two pretty long road trips, and neither ended as successful as we would have liked. I think, playing a Syracuse team that I had really the first chance to take a good look at on Sunday morning and Monday, and I've been impressed. I think they've got some good players. Since they've made the quarterback change offensively, they've done a good job of taking care of the ball and getting their running game going. And defensively, got some good guys inside. Bromley, the three linebackers are all really good players. And they'll be a huge challenge for us. We're looking forward to having a great week of practice and correcting some of the mistakes we've made. We got to get away from the penalties and turnovers and beating ourselves. And, guys' attitude's been good. It was good yesterday, so we'll work hard this week and see if we can't play our best game of the year on Saturday.
Coach, you talked about their running game. They have last couple of games they've gone over 300 yards. They have two backs that went over 100 against North Carolina State. Can you talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, they're both different. They're kind of a 1-2 punch. Number 45 is a big guy. They list him at 220, but he looks bigger than that on tape. I mean, he's a physical guy, and he's got pretty good speed because he took one about 65 yards against Clemson. We know they run well. And then they got a little change-up back who's not quite as big, who comes into the game and kind of gives them a different dimension. And big offensive line, a lot of zone scheme, a lot of split zone, a lot of zone options, so stuff that we've seen. But and then their quarterback, he's not a blazer, but he's a hard guy to tackle, and he pulls the ball down a lot on pass plays and doesn't make negative plays. He's hard to sack. He'll pull it down and get a positive play and keep the thing going. So they've done a very good job running the football the last couple of weeks.
Coach Vad seemed to struggle with the reads. Is it a confidence thing with him right now, or how is he? Where is he right now?
I think he's actually getting better with his reads and his fundamentals and his technique on some of the option stuff. He's getting his weight transferred. I think he's doing okay there. We did not run a lot of read option against BYU simply because of the way they were playing, and we thought we had a scheme that could take advantage of getting the ball on the perimeter. But I think in the running game, he's getting better. He's doing better. Is he perfect? No, but nobody is. And we've got to protect him better in the passing game. I mean, that's the bottom line. He can help himself by getting to the right spot in his drops. I mean, he's all over the place dropping right now. But you can understand that a little bit with the pressure he's getting. It's hard to get set up when, they're beating you to your spot. So it's all that we've got to work on and get better at.
Sticking with quarterbacks, has Justin Thomas played well enough to earn more playing time?
I think Justin's done some good things, and we'll continue to evaluate that, monitor it, and if Justin has a good week of practice, then the odds are he'll get to play some this week. It's the the same deal. It's ironic. I was talking to Vad yesterday, and we were watching the tape. I was in there with the quarterbacks watching the game tape, and I just wanted to. I knew the answer, but I asked him. I go, it's a wee bit different when you the starter and you play every snap rather than going in. And he's like, yeah, it really is. And we were just talking, and one of the quarterback draws came up, and the play ran to the right, where the linebacker kind of got him by the foot and got him down. I said, last year that guy wouldn't have caught you. And he goes, that's what my mom said. And it's like, but there is a difference, when you're playing 65 plays as opposed to 15 or 20, just like with Justin. When Justin comes in, he's fresh, and so, there may be some value in getting them both in the game a little bit for that purpose.
Their tackle, Jay Bromley, you mentioned him. He looks like he's a pretty active player. Can you describe just what he does?
Well, I just think he's a good player. He's a big guy that's got some quicks. He's an experienced guy. Got good pad level. You can see he's got good football IQ, and he's a good player. They slide him out to end sometimes in the nickel stuff and make him an edge rusher. And, he's just a good defensive lineman.
Coach, what was BYU doing offensively that kind of gave you trouble early in the game?
Well, they're throwing it over our head. That tends to give you trouble a lot. I mean, we were in 3 deep when they hit the post, which is, we had a young guy at safety jump a crossing route, and our corner got on top of, and then the second time we just got run by, and we should have turned around and played the ball where we got the interference call. So they hit some pass plays. They hit some play action. Their quarterback did a good job executing. Then a couple of zone read plays. We got guys who don't play their responsibility. I mean, if you got the quarterback and you don't take the quarterback, it's going to be a big play. It's just like when people play us and they don't take the quarterback, it's a big play. And so it was just a myriad of those things. And, down on the goal line, we turned a couple guys loose with bracket coverage. One guy's playing bracket, the other guy's not. I mean, it's the same stuff that happens when there's breakdowns a lot. And in the second half, we didn't have so many. We turned the back loose one time, but he dropped the ball. We got lucky in the flats. They threw it and he dropped it. In the first half, they weren't dropping any. And their quarterback was playing well. And, I think he's a good player. I keep coming in here and I say, well, they're good teams, but the bottom line is we've played 3 good teams. I mean, they're, 15-3? The team we played out there in Provo is, since the coach has been there, 60-9, I think, at home or something like that. So they're a good team, and you can't make mistakes and expect to win. The positive thing is we've been in all 3 games. We've had a chance to win them all without playing our best game. So I think that makes our guys, when they watch the tape, more determined to try to correct the things and more determined to stay away from the self-inflicted stuff and play. And that's what I'm excited about. I mean, their attitude is good. It's like, are they disappointed that we've lost 3 games? Yeah, you bet. And it's like, but they can see why. It's not like you go in there as the thing when you get frustrated as a coach or a player, you go in there and you watch it, and as a coach you get frustrated if you just see your guys getting run over. I mean, and the 3 techniques getting reached by the center repeatedly, and the guys can't cover anybody, and you just go, wow. I mean, I don't know how you could line them up and play. Well, that's not the case. And the flip side offensively is the same thing. They can look. I mean, how many times Saturday were we behind them and we just missed or didn't hit it or didn't make a play, or you pitch the ball and there's one guy makes the play, or you start the series 1st and 25. I don't care how good you are. You're 1st and 25 on your own 3-yard line. You can say what you want. The odds of making a first down for anybody's not real good. So clean up all that stuff. And if I'm the quarterback and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, if I hand this off, it's a big play, or if I pitch it, it's a big play. Well, then I can work with that, as opposed to, man, I got the ball and there's 6 guys unblocked and it didn't matter what I did. There's nothing going to happen. Well, then that's when you go, ooh, man, you check out. It's like, I can't do this. Well, we're not even remotely close to there. So, we just got to play better.
Paul, when you look at Syracuse defensively, philosophy-wise, you talked about their backers are good players. The kid inside's a good player, but is it an aggressive style? They try to get after you?
Yeah, I think it's an aggressive blitzing style defense. They're a stunt blitz team. How much of that, sometimes what we do offensively limits people that way, because you can really give up a lot of big plays if you get caught in certain blitzes against the option or certain things. But I don't think they'll change their identity. We're fully expecting that we're going to get a lot of stunts, a lot of blitzes, that kind of thing. We're kind of, they haven't played an option team anything we can find. Scott really hadn't played one in a long time. So you have to try to look at their tape, look at what they do. And the way I always try to do it is, okay, if I were him, what would I do? How would I adjust my scheme to play what they're doing? And that's what we'll practice against, and we'll take a couple of different looks and think, okay, this would be the best way for them to play us. And if they don't play us one of these 2 ways, well, then we like our chances. So we'll get ready for what we would think would be the hardest, and then you go from there. And the nature of what we do, it's built in anyway, so we could actually probably play without even hitting the right thing, and we shouldn't. You got the first linebacker. It doesn't matter whether it's a 4-3 or 3-4 or whatever. There's rules built into it, which is one of the neat things about it. We won't have a 25-page blocking sheet each week like you would with a conventional deal that changes depending on the fronts and the stuff. So, yeah, but they're very aggressive.
Have they, with the new quarterback, because of what they've gone to with the other kid, have they decidedly gone to a different style of offense? Looked like they wanted to throw a little bit early.
Yeah, I think they want to run the ball. They try to spread you out, but I think they want to run the ball. I don't think there's any question about that.
Chris, when not having any game video to go back on with an opponent, how often does that happen, and when's the last time that you can remember that?
Well, it happens a lot, but when you change coordinators or you change whatever, it's not that unusual. It's unusual in conference games normally because you've played, but non-conference it's not that unusual. And like when we were at Navy or when we were at Southern and you played in the playoffs, I mean, you'd play teams you'd never played or never seen. So it's not that unusual.
Well, I think we tend to forget that the vet hadn't played a lot of games. I mean, I think that goes by the wayside a little bit. But can you talk about the process of a quarterback understanding it's okay to take 1 yard as opposed to trying to make something big that's not there, and how long that takes to kind of get that in his mind that it's okay to get 1 or 2 as opposed to losing 4 or 5?
Yeah, well, you got to manage the game, and we talk about that all the time. We can play 2nd and 8. It's hard to play 2nd and 15. And just like on the option plays or whatever, no matter who the quarterback is, if it's iffy on the read and you're not sure, hand the ball off. Because if they tackle the guy, you're going to be 2nd and 8, especially if it's iffy. You pull it and reverse field and start going the other way, trying to make a big play, now you're looking at 2nd and 15, 2nd and 16. That's happened a little bit. Then we've had the penalties that got him behind the 8 ball. And Vad's a very competitive guy. I mean, nobody wants to – he's like all quarterbacks. They all want to win, and he wants to win. And as you said, he hadn't played a lot, and he's just trying to make plays. And the guys you could get away from in high school, you can't get away from. You can't reverse out and outrun everybody, and you got to trust your teammates. It's just like the other night. Every time that they would pop a guy backside, he'd want to stop and go back that way. And you can't do that. The guys were picking them up. It really should be good. You just got to go play side. And if the guys play side don't get the block, you play 2nd and 7. But I think that when you're not winning, then you start pressing and you try to make plays rather than just kind of play within the system, and that's experience. It's like you said, it's experience. And, I think Vad Lee's a very talented guy. He's going to be a good player. But as I said in here before, people made him Superman before he ever played a game, and then they kill him because he can't live up to their expectations. And it's like he's getting better every week, and he's going to be a good player. You got to give the kid some time, and he's got to have some help. He can't do it himself.
You mentioned a couple times now that he's got to have some help. What area specifically do you think need to improve?
Well, let's see. They could help him by catching the ball. The first series, we have a drop that would have been a first down where he does scramble and make a play. They could help him with protection. We could help him when he reads the option right and gets the ball pitched and we knock guys down on the perimeter. We don't run into the guys on the ground and fall down. I mean, there's all kinds of areas that you can help him. It's just like with any football team. You're not going to block everybody every play. Maybe somebody breaks a tackle and scores. I can think of in the last 2 or 3 games, deep passes, post routes, whatever. He's put the ball right there, and we don't catch it. They knock it out of our hands, or like we had almost the same identical play that their guy made the touchdown catch on. We don't catch it. So if you catch a couple of those for him, you make some plays, then all of a sudden his stat line looks way different. You know, so now, is he blameless? No, just like nobody is. I'm not blameless. The coaches aren't. Everybody's got some accountability, but it's not always the quarterback. And I keep saying that. It's, you know, as coaches, we evaluate, and if I thought he was just, you know, playing like so poorly that we got no, then you'd play somebody. That's not the case. Would I like for him to play better? You bet. Would he like to play better? You bet. But he's not the problem. He's not the only problem. And he's getting better. And I think he'll continue to get better.
Time for one more after Rod.
Coach, on defense, there was some personnel changes with some of the backups getting some playing time, like Davis, Harrell, Gamble, Noble. What did you see from those guys?
Well, I think P.J. Davis has been pretty consistent all year. He plays with a high motor and high energy, and I think that what Coach Rue feels like is some of those guys, the starters, haven't played up to his expectations, and there needs to be consequences. So if you don't play well, if you're supposed to take the quarterback and you don't take the quarterback, something's got to happen. I mean, it doesn't do any good just to say, don't do that again. You know, take your guy. So you give somebody else a chance, and I think that's what happened. You know, I think they did okay. Pat Gamble is a guy that we moved out from tackle to end because we finally got Sean Green back. And actually, we also got Francis Callan coming along. I mean, there's a guy who everybody wanted from day one to come in and be, you know, DeMarcus Ware or something, who played a year of high school football, and he's learning. And he's getting better. He's getting better every week. So he's to the point now where he's off the scout team, he's over there with the defense, and he may play some. So it gives you another guy inside so we can move Pat outside. And, again, he's a redshirt freshman, you know, so hopefully he'll keep progressing. We got Sean Green back from injury. Now he's hurt again, but we had him back from injury, so that enabled us to move Pat outside. So it's always a thing. You're trying to get your best players on the field.
Coach, another guy on that side of the ball, and especially actually on that position, is Adam Gotsis. Where have you seen from him this year, and how's he grown from year one?
I think Adam's gotten better too. You know, he had a really good game at BYU. He had a couple of sacks. I think that he's an ongoing work in progress with his hands. We're trying to get him to use his hands more and that kind of thing. But Adam's a tough guy. He loves to play. Got good quicks, good speed. He's probably a little better when he's moving, you know, because he's not the biggest guy inside. But I think he's getting better. And there's another guy who's sophomore who's going to be a good player. You know, the more he plays, the better he gets, the better he plays.